So if we want to store water, how do we calculate it? You need to have your plan. I want to store water. Okay, good. But how would I look at calculating it? Well, think about this. Trees hold water. Each banana, right, that we cut that banana down, that held 40 gallons of water for one banana. So if I took that banana and I went and put it into a barrel and squished it, I could take out 40 gallons of water. Coconuts store water well. Yeah, beautiful tree. The great forest, any biomass. We can make ponds. They can be big and or small. We can make dams. Mulch is another great way to hold water. So if we mulch our property, it doesn't allow the water to evaporate. So we don't want our evaporation. So mulch helps us. And windbreaks. If we can put up windbreaks, we stop the wind. Wind evaporates water. So with my windbreaks surrounding my pond, I have very little water loss due to overland wind. So think about stopping wind. Water tanks, PVC, wow, changed the world. We now easily can capture and hold water where before, not so easy. So a PVC pipe can lead from your roof to a water tank. We can calculate its capacity. So how do we do that? Well, average, a normal, let's call it a permaculture lifestyle. I'm not consumptive. I'm not going to go wash my car once a week and just waste water, all that kind of thing. I need about 55 liters of water a day per person, every day, 365 days a year. So how am I going to get all that water? Well, I need to calculate the length of the driest period in my area. So when is there no rain? In a temperate climate, that might be in winter. Snows, not easy to get the water, right? Here, it would be in our dry period, which is also our winter. It doesn't rain. So then, for 2 months, it may go 60 days at Raktamachat that I have no rain. It does not rain for 60 full days. And I could have 10 people here, right? And everybody needs 55 liters of water times 10 people plus my family. So that's about 20 people per day times 55 liters. Let's just use 50, right? Yeah? I need how many liters every day? Come on. Come on, permaculturalists. Oh, man. Like 10,000 liters a day. And at which time, I need that times 60 days, because it may, right? That's how much water I'd have to hold to guarantee that we had water. Well, if I had to have a tank that big, would that be practical? Probably not. But I can hold that water in the pond. You guys have been drinking the water in the bottles? Where do you think it comes from? It's pond water that went through a water filter. So later I'm going to show you how to build the water filter. And we filter the pond water and we put it in the drinking bottle. Oh, I'm sorry, they do it in the village. So each village in Thailand has their own water filter system. They store their water in the reservoir. They pump the water from the pond to the water filter, and it comes out as clean drinking water. Interesting. So we need to be able to calculate that. So water tanks can be cool. Here's someone's water tank in their backyard. Concrete is very interesting. It's very cheap to build. So they can build a large water tank. They have their irrigation, and if it wasn't painted, maybe it's ugly, but they make art on their tank. Really nice, right? So that's an interesting thing. This is another one I found really cool on the internet. This guy basically has water tanks, as we saw, sitting up in the landscape, and he put a pipe, a flexible pipe down the hill. And off of the pipe, he filled it with water. So the whole pipe's full of water, and it has sprinklers coming off the pipe to all his trees. So he has utilized the flexible pipe as a water tank down the hillside, and it creates pressure. Super cheap, super simple. And these are the type of solutions that people are sharing on the internet, like people experimenting. And who would have thought of that? But what a great, great solution, and super, super inexpensive. So how do we catch rainwater? So this is an actual calculation from Nimbin, which is an interesting place. If anybody's been to Nimbin in New South Wales, kind of a hippie community place. So this is a water requirements for 4 people in a house. So what they did is they looked at, on this particular time, the lowest rainfall period in Nimbin in August to September. They only got 1.6 millimeters of water in that duration. It doesn't rain. So, but they needed 555 liters times that 60 days. So that was their water consumption for their family times the number of days. They needed to store 33,000 liters of water. If it rains, the rain before the drought, right? they could, in a 2-inch rain, they could catch on their house, which was 150 square meters. So they take the 150 square meters times the rainfall, so they took inches and made it into millimeters. So 1 millimeter on 1 meter is how many liters? Now you see, I didn't come from a country that does metric math. But what I do love about metric math, it's really easy. So how many millimeters are there in 1 meter? 1,000. How many liters are in 1 cubic meter? 1,000. 1 millimeter equals 1 liter. So every millimeter it rains on your roof, 1 square meter, you get 1 liter of water. Really easy. So I take the size of my house, 1 millimeter, I get 1 meter, 1 liter. I can catch that water. Super simple calculation. So she did it in inches and then converted it to millimeters. I would recommend just doing it in millimeters. But at this point, that 50 millimeters, they get 7.5 cubic meters of water, or 7,500 liters in that one rain they can catch. So if they do that, they can start to see how many rains it will take to fill up their tanks so that when there's no rain, they'll have enough water. When you start, you may not have enough money to buy tanks to have 33,000 liters. It's a lot, right? But I could buy 1 tank, and that's less water I have to buy from the city. And then next year I could get a 2nd tank, and then I could get a 3rd tank, and by the 4th year, I don't need to buy water anymore. So we could also see, remember that water was energy, and I can make an investment to capture energy. And if I can capture the energy, very simply, I might not have to pay for water in the future. So why should I not capture my own rainwater? If any of you want to have a garden, how are you going to water the garden? You're going to water your garden by turning on the hose and paying the government to give you the water, so they have a meter? Or should you water your garden by capturing the rainwater for free? Right? This is a concept that we want to try to explore. If we do capture water, a lot of times though, we've captured the water from our roof and now it's sitting on the ground. I don't have any pressure. So if I want to take a shower, I need pressure. So you can buy a little small pump. They're very inexpensive, maybe like $100. And this pump takes the water, adds pressure so that I can take a shower. And if I want to have a hot water shower, because I want to have like one of these pressurized hot water heaters that are really nice now, right? On demand hot water. It takes 30 kilopascals or PSI, right? So 30 PSI, and then I can run my water heater from my rainwater. So I capture my rainwater and I can have a shower. Think about the layout. This is a really nice master plan. It's a place called Dungbun Gardens. It's a famous permaculture site in Australia, one of the oldest permaculture sites. So this is their master plan. These are their water harvesting, and then they describe what they do with them. So on your plan, what are the water catchments that you may want? Where are they going to be located? Also think about, how are they connected together? How does water go from this one to this one? So if this is full, it overflows to this one. And if this is full, it overflows to this one. And if they're all full, it goes off my property where? These are the type of concepts we want to start, which you get like a total landscape layout, or we have a map. So we have a map showing our water. So here is her master plan, just showing the water flows, right? So we have the really pretty drawing, and now we have our water flow map. We call these overlays, right? So this is the water flows in Dungbun Gardens. Where does the water come in the property? And how does the water move through the property? And this place is super lush. So it's in a very dry place. Remember, for 60 days, it didn't rain. But yet, it looks like an oasis because of the water capture. Here's another really nice master plan. So people in architecture, I've had quite a few graduate students, master's degrees in architects take our PDC. And it's really interesting to see people that, hey, this person has a master's degree in architecture, and they're taking a PDC. And they can draw amazing plans. And then they can go into the future, and they're going to be designing things for people, their clients, with an ecological point of view, a sustainable model. They're going to look at the water in that landscape and help to design it into their buildings. That's going to be an interesting future. When we see these big dams, right, how do we calculate how much water can be in that dam, right? So we'll look at that. So this is a Siddha farm in India, really nice dam. So this is a calculating the water holding capacity. So what are we going to do? We need to understand that normally dams are not square. They're not a box, so they have some type of angle. So here they're using just an approximation of the angles, right? So they said basically, what's the surface area? Can you calculate how big it is? How many square meters, how deep? Times 1,000, and that will give me the liters of water that I can hold in that particular dam. To give you an idea, that one there is about 5 meters deep, guys. So that holds about 4 million liters of water, okay? Each water having value. So even if I said that was only worth 1 cent per liter to me, right? That still means I can capture that every year, and then I can use it on our garden. So I normally pump this about 2 meters of water every year so that we can have our garden. And if I don't have that, I don't think we can support our garden, right? So this is a big issue. Think about on your property, where's your water going to come from? So if we do your dams, think about this though. Don't make open water situations in dry lands and deserts because you'll have too much evaporation. Really don't put your dam in a shaded place because if it's too shaded, it'll become septic, okay? So you need to think about having enough sun, but not enough wind. And don't put it on a slope of more than 9 degrees because more than likely it won't hold water and the dam will break. Or soils, you need at least 50% clay, and you can test clay very easily. If I take soil and I roll clay into a ribbon and I can bend it over my finger, it has more than 50% clay. If it breaks, less. Okay, super simple test. We need sufficient catchment. I've seen pictures, I'm not going to put here, but people have built dams and it doesn't rain enough to fill up the dam and they don't have any water going to the dam, so then they have a big hole in their backyard that never fills up. Not a good idea, right? So make sure if you build a big dam that you can actually catch enough water to fill it up. And best ratio of earth to water stored. If you dig a dam on your property, and y'all might have decided, man, look at all those pictures, I want one of those. But where is the dirt going to go? If I take all that dirt out, where did it go? I have to do something with it. In some countries, you know you can get your dam built for free. Free. You sell the dirt. If you don't want the dirt, the contractor will take the dirt and sell it to builders, and then you get the hole. Great, right? Sell the dirt.